you're right, that's why you run away. Two things we couldn't be together now, we're not lonely. All I have is much better when you look at it plainly. Some of the parts only built one mess, and we're still here, unclear of what we were. Fall high November, we will remember the song. Do you hear it now? Is it ever gonna be loud enough for January? We built more to Aries for what we were. We will remember falling down. To any other who's got in the wrong way, I hope you're not. I hope you'll never be all I have, 'cause it's all so right for me. Some of the parts only built one mess, and we're still here, unclear of what we were. Fall high November, we will remember the song. Do you hear it now? Is it ever gonna be loud enough for January? We built more to Aries for what we were. That's why I know that I will wish on you as you fall down. And I will wish on you as you go shooting across the sky. And I will fall high November. We will remember the song. Do you hear it now? Is it ever gonna be loud enough for you? Is it ever gonna be loud enough for you? Wish on you, you fall down. And I will wish on you, you go shooting across the sky. And I will wish on you, you fall down.
Alrighty, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Araya Swift Lifestyle Pro Series for race number 11 here live in New York. This is the Watkins Glen 120. Myers Levy, your lead announcer, and joining me in the booth as always is the right-hand man, Jacob Bell, and executive producer, Harold Darner. How's it going, guys?
It's going good, man. Here at Watkins Glen, beautiful racetrack, and it's going to be a beautiful race, I hope. We got a lot of people with a lot of playoff opportunity on the line, so a lot of guys looking to secure their ticket to the playoffs tonight, so it's going to be a critical one, Hunter. I'm excited to watch.
I'm very excited to watch, too, and this is our second road course race of the year. Well, actually, I think this is the first one for the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. This is the second one for the majority of the other series. I know for the Launchbox Series and the Sim Speed Shop Cup Series, this will be their second race. That is until Wednesday night and Thursday night we will see those cars. But tonight, it's the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. This is their first and only road course race of the year. And there's going to be a couple names that you're going to have to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, I think looking through the practice charts, Travis Beckner definitely sticks out. He's been pretty quick all weekend long. I did a lot of testing with him, and I've seen a lot of the other drivers testing as well. And Beckner's name seems to be one of the ones that is up there in terms of lap time during these practice sessions we've seen. Another name I'd watch out for is JJ Wang in that 00. He's currently 9th on the charts, but hasn't put in a lot of practice laps this session particularly, but I expect JJ to find his way to the front before this night's over.
should mention he's got the highest I rating out of any driver in the field on road courses. So that's definitely a name you should keep your eye out for. And he's on the outside looking in too, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we get a look at our playoff picture here, presented by Elwood Designs, and Hunter mentioned it, JJ Wang, the 00, I believe, one of the drivers on the outside looking in, is producer Harold's throwing that graphic up real quick for us, and there you see it. He's actually in. He's actually got the 10th seed right now in yellow towards the bottom, but Rick Ward, Dominic DeLeo, a couple of those names outside the playoffs looking to get in tonight, Hunter.
Yeah, on the left, you can see those that are in green, and then those in the round of 12. They have one, and they're locked in. They are Matthew Robinson, Nicholas Alda, James Shanewolf, and then last week, a surprise winner in Caleb Steimer winning at Talladega, an unbelievable finish, and Steimer from Jacob Bell. Very great race and very fantastic finish. And then those in left you see, including JJ Wang, are currently in, but they're not totally locked in. Stuff can still happen where, say, Trevor Williams could be bumped down, and he's the first one out in red that you see. One of the first drivers that's out is Rick Ward, only 8 points out. Dominic DeLeo, 11 out. Jeremy Horn, 13th. And then, almost said Nolan Carroll. Dustin Carroll. I don't know why I can't get that name. Dustin Carroll, 22 points out.
I was going to mention, Hunter, there's actually a good possibility we see a lot of those names in yellow turn to green tonight. They have such a big margin over the 12th position for the playoffs that there's a chance we see Forrest Smith, Gary Lewis, Brian Dixon, Bobby Tench. They might lock themselves in officially heading into next week's race at Charlotte, the regular season finale, just in terms of their points position. So big opportunity for them to come out tonight and also solidify their playoff spot even without winning the race.
Yeah, I'm looking at Trevor Williams, the last one currently in on points, and he's only got an 8-point cushion between him and Rick Ward. Then you got Eli Green, who's got a little bit more of a cushion there. As Eli Green, looking back, he's 19 to the good. But it gets steeper and steeper the lower you go on the points.
I think you look at Dominic DeLeo, the 14th driver you see on that list right there. He's 11 points out. He's slowly but surely been kind of crawling his way up the leaderboard. He was outside the top 25, outside the top 20. Now he's worked his way all the way up to 14th. And you got to think after a good night tonight, he could set himself up for a potential game-winning situation next week at Charlotte and getting himself in the playoffs at the last possible moment. So we'll have to keep an eye on the 21 all night long and the rest of those bubble drivers.
Very well could be. And not to mention, he missed a race earlier this year, too, where Matthew Robinson, he's made all of the races so far, along with Nicholas Alda. There's quite a few drivers who have made every single race, but then there's quite a bit who have missed a couple, and one of those obviously being Dominic DeLeo. So we'll have to keep an eye on him and see him try to crawl his way into the playoffs. You see, we still got about little over, was that 3 minutes left in our practice session?
Just under 4 minutes left, 3:40. But, a couple things we talked about, rule changes to the track. iRacing has shored up the off-track penalties. So coming off with four wheels past the apron, or that's that red and yellow rumble strip, coming off of turn 1 and turn 6. Turn 1, normally when you see the NASCAR guys take this turn number 1, they get all four wheels passed up over the rumble strip and come diving back down onto the race surface. You do that here, it'll be a 1x penalty. And we're looking here right now at turn 6. If you get past those rumble strips, you'll also get a 1x.
Yep. And Harold's bringing that up because that's going to be critical for qualifying here tonight. Anytime you get an incident point during qualifying, a 1x, whether it's going off track there or through the grass in any other portion of the racetrack, it will disallow that lap time. So that'll be a critical thing to watch out for tonight during qualifying. So good pickup there, Harold, as we move towards the end of this practice session with Travis Beckner, the lead guy right now, by quite a bit, Hunter. He's got a pretty big margin over second place in terms of lap time.
It was about half a second above second place, but Shane Wolf got 10th down, so only 0.4 quicker than second place driver James Shane Wolf. But I feel like a driver that I'm going to have to keep my eye on is Matthew Robinson. I said last week I'm going to stick to my word. Although he's 13th on the leaderboard, never count out Matthew Robinson.
Yeah, no, Matthew Robinson, extremely quick. Another one of those guys who's been practicing quite a bit the past weekend or so, trying to get ready for this road course race. You mentioned it, Hunter, the only road course race that Swift Lifestyle Pro Series will see all season long. So it's a very important one. And a lot of these guys put a lot of time and effort into making sure they're ready for it.
Absolutely. And this race, oh, pardon me. Excuse me there. This race, mentioned it, first road course race for the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. We've had one road course race previous, but not in this series. It was in the Lodge Box Series, and it was in the Sim Speed Shop Cup Series. We had the Daytona road course, and it had a little bit of a different layout from what we traditionally see every night or every week. There's only one caution, and that's the halfway caution. So there's no caution for incidents. So if you mess up, that's kind of on you. And there will be a caution at lap 18, the completion of lap 18. It will be like a halfway caution that you might see in the lower NASCAR series for K&N or maybe even the ARCA series in real life. Then after that, it's trying to get the specific amount of laps on it. I believe it's a 15 lap dash. Yeah, 15 lap dash to the finish. So it should make for some pretty exciting racing, and drivers having to be on the edge more, will be more cautious than usual.
Yeah, I think you're right, Hunter. It's going to be, the only time this season where we won't see caution flags getting triggered by iRacing. There's going to be no caution flags. The only yellow flag we'll see all night long is going to be that halfway caution that comes when the last car on the lead lap completes lap number 18. So definitely a game changer, and we'll see the strategy on the flip side of that. A lot of people, really try to, get their pit strategy down based off of that. So we might see some drivers coming in as early as lap 8 or 9 this race because they know they'll be getting that caution at the completion of lap number 18. So a lot goes into that, and a lot of different circumstances will surely set us up for a crazy finish there, as we got the nose of a car sliding through the grass after contact there through the S's. So the S's, you saw it there in practice, as it's winding down. It looks like Travis Beckner will be the quick guy in practice, but the S's is definitely going to be a tricky part of the racetrack, Hunter. We're going to have to watch that all night long.
Yep, and one thing to also look out for all night long, you see on the bottom right of your screen there, that's a track map. Well, it just went away, but on the bottom right, you'll see the track map show up, and that gives you an indication of where everyone is on the racetrack. There you see on the bottom right, it's got the turns laid out in the number, and the purple dot that you see moving is the car that we're currently on. We'll see him coming out of pit road. It's the number 31 of James Shanewolf, it looks like, that's coming out.
Yeah, this first lap, too, is a little bit different than a lot of the other racetracks you'll see. When we go to a short 1.5 mile track, well, short compared to this racetrack at least, when we go to one of those racetracks, you'll see that outlap being super important in terms of building up speed to start your first official qualifying lap. Here, it's a little different at Watkins Glen. You're able to kind of take it a little bit easier, a little bit smoother, and take your time on that outlap to make sure you take care of your equipment and get set up for lap number 1. And it looks like James, though, still moving along pretty good here. The Littleton, North Carolina native. He's coming out of that carousel corner, as we'll refer to it, much of this night, and heading down into, I believe that's turn 6, Harold. Is that what we're calling right here?
Turn 6.
Yep, so we got.
I am not Harold, clearly, but that is turn 6.
And then we're gonna.
That is turn number 6.
7.
And I'm working on and then turn 7 coming off here. I'm working on looks like a white paint car, so we're trying to fix that. And I thought I saw the 41 of Vern Hawkins looking like he had a double paint, so I'm trying to fix him too if I can.
Yeah, Vern, that one might be intentional because he did show up late, and I think they were just slapping something together for him. So that might be intentional, the reason the number is like that. But anyways, we got James Shanewolf here officially starting lap 1, Hunter.
Yep, you see him, he's working his way up through the S's, and Harold went out there earlier, our executive producer. He went out there and had a little bit of a test run for himself. He said it's like ice, so drivers are going to have to be really careful going up and down those S's. And then you see here drivers going through the bus stop. This is going to be a crucial part and might be a good passing point for late in the race. Then you see Shanewolf working through the carousel. We don't run the boot. Now this is legal. There is no penalty. There is no 1X for going over that rumble strip. It's when you go over this rumble strip down into turn 6.
It's the one on the right that you got to watch about. This one right here.
Don't want to go too far over that.
Yep. It's the left side for turn 1, right side for turn 6. That's being more scrutinized by iRacing.
You'll get a good look at it here as Shane Wolf comes down to complete the first lap of qualifying.
Nice 114. Nice lap.
You see, there's the rumble strip on the left. That's the one you don't want to go over, although he's driving over it. You don't want to go next to it or to the left of it. And then,
all 4 tires need to be on the other side to get the penalty. So he's good where he was.
This is going to be something to look out for all night because someone's bound to make a mistake or two, and we'll see it happen throughout the night. Also want to not cut it too close to the entry of the bus stop.
Yeah, that's a tricky
we might see it. It's a very tricky part. We might see a driver try to cut it too soon and then smack that wall, and then who knows what's going to happen if that is to happen.
That Arco barrier will not move.
No. It'll give, but it won't move.
So right on board here is Shane Wolf now coming to lap number 2, it looks like.
It's a loose one.
And it looks like he got in the grass there, so not sure if this one will count either. It'll be up to iRacing's discretion how they score this as he officially crosses the stripe here. We'll see if there's an increase in lap time. And we do not see an official lap posted there by the 31 of James Shane Wolf. So that'll end his qualifying efforts, but he is P1 on the board right now, Hunter.
Yeah, and P2 is Forrest Smith. Forrest Smith and Gary Lewis of One Mind to Design, they've really done a good job of staying consistent, staying in the top 5, top 10s, and it's also helped out their team in the team championships.
Yeah, they've taken over the team championship lead from Samson Motorsports, and that's going to be a tight battle till the end, I think, Hunter. One Mind to Design, you mentioned it, Gary Lewis and Forrest Smith versus the Samson drivers of Sean Corcoran and the 66 of Bobby Tinch. Those guys are neck and neck right now. One Mind to Design for the first time this season is inched ahead in terms of the team championship positions, but I don't think that fight is over with. It's like
as we see on our screen, yep, that is Travis Beckner. He was the first driver in practice, the fastest in practice. I believe this is coming to complete his first lap? No, it looks like he's starting his first lap.
He's gonna
so
be tested
through that first turn, I was looking up the. Yeah, I was gonna say I was looking through the track nicknames because our previous broadcast that we did for a road course was the Daytona road course, and then they had a nickname for every turn. Not too many here. That first one was the 90. Not really sure why, but kind of get the picture that it's a 90-degree turn to the right. And then there you just saw him go through the S's, and now here through the bus stop.
It's good for all of us.
It's going to be really tricky to go through there.
It's good for all of us to be on the same page as well as far as nicknames. So we got the bus stop and this one, Hunter. Are we calling this one the carousel tonight? Is that what you got?
This is the carousel. I've never heard another term for it other than carousel, and it fits because it's round like a carousel.
Beckner's
and then there's not a nickname here.
Beckner's putting together a pretty fast lap just from the looks of it, by the way. I wanted to throw that out there before he crosses the stripe here.
Through turn 6 and then down into turn 7. Getting up close to that wall, we'll see him come across the stripe and put down a lap time.
And he's going to take it. He's going to go to the top of the charts. Travis Beckner with a 113.6, a half second quicker than James Shane Wolf in the number 31. So an impressive lap time there from the number 45. You see the red stripes on the back of that race car signifying via iRacing that he is a rookie licensed road course driver. So pretty impressive for Beckner to come down here and lay down such a quick lap, especially against a few guys in this field that are pretty stout road course racers.
Well, we need to clarify what that means to our audience who may not be iRacers. Have pickup races or official races, and Jake, you're familiar with this, and those people who are iRacers are familiar with it, and that's how you get your iRating, your license, and all only on that. So if Travis only does league racing like tonight, he would not have any help to his iRating or his license code at all.
Yeah, tonight is a official league race, like you said there, so separate than the licensed program through iRacing, but got a lot of people down in chat, by the way. I want to give a big shout out to everybody tuning in. Looks like we got a lot of fans of JJ Wang as well tonight, so appreciate you guys joining us here. As Beckner is going to complete lap number 2, and it's not going to pick up any, it looks like, so lap 1 is going to hold off to be his quickest. and still an impressive run here in qualifying via Travis Beckner in the 45.
I was looking through to see if JJ Wang put down a time. Looks like he's got laps up, but it's not showing up on our leaderboard. So he might have gone off track through one portion of the racetrack. But the last time I saw his lap, I don't know if you can see what his fastest lap was, Jake, but the last lap I saw, he ran a 1:14.9. That would be good for about 6th on our leaderboard.
Yeah, I don't see the lap times via the iRacing, but you have the live scoring, so you're probably able to check in there. But that shows me that his lap times were disallowed from iRacing. So it looks like the 00 machine of JJ Wang is going to have to roll from the back.
Yeah, I was looking through because we got a lot of JJ Wang fans here in the chat.
Yes, we do.
And JJ Wang, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the highest I rating on the road course out of anyone in the field. And then we got someone who's on a rookie, red rookie stripes, rookie license on a road course that's on the top of the chart.
And just to clarify what Jake was saying, JJ Wang did run his qualifying laps. None of them counted, so iRacing said that he exceeded the track limits during his qualifying.
It looks like the 28 of Eli Green there probably going to have the same penalty as well. Not going to allow that first lap time, and probably not going to allow this one either for the 28 car. He's going to go ahead, pile it into the fence in turn 1. And I believe that for the most part is going to pretty much conclude our qualifying runs from everybody that's out on track. I don't see anybody else rolling. It looks like the qualifying grid is pretty much set, and it's going to be Travis Beckner rolling from the pole with only 30 seconds left here in the qualifying session.
Yeah, I got a good bit of guys that haven't put down a lap yet. 15 officially. I see looks like 2, Mark Patterson and JJ Wang, that tried to put a lap time down but wasn't allowed by iRacing standards, in which they deemed that they were off the track or track limits came up at one point. Everybody else just watching, taking notes, I guess, and then putting the judgment of their car into their own hands. So we'll get your lineup here in just a moment to see where everyone's favorite or their pick is starting, which, of course, we'll do our picks after we find out who's starting where. And here we go. So on the left, you'll see your starting lineup. On the pole, it's Travis Beckner, and alongside him, it's James Shanewolf.
Rolling off row 2, it's going to be Forrest Smith in the number 84 and Jordan Hurley in the in the 02, rolling off 4th.
Row number 3, we got Vern Hawkins the 3rd, starting in the 5th spot, and starting 6th is Paul Irvin in the 4.
Dominic DeLeo rolling off in P7 tonight in the number 21 car. Outside of him is going to be Trevor Williams, both those drivers in a critical playoff situation heading into tonight's race.
Starting in row 5, we'll have Sean Corcoran in the 22, and alongside him, Jeremy Horn in the 81.
Matthew Robinson, the season points leader, is going to roll off from P11. Outside of him is going to be Jordan Berry in the 57 car.
And then in row number 7, we'll find Cliff Mullins in the 37, and alongside him, Bobby Tinch in the 66.
Row 8, Nicholas Halda in the 87, and starting outside of him in 16th, JJ Wang in the number 00.
Row number 9, we'll find the 51 of Mark Patterson, and alongside him, Rick Ward in the 34.
Gary Lewis is going to round out our top 20 starters alongside Dustin Carroll in the number 92 car.
Row number 11, we'll find Eli Green and Adam Capps. And then in the last row, but not the least row, last week's winner, Caleb Steimer, going to start 23rd. And that is your 23-card field for tonight's Watkins Glen 120, or the nickname of the race, I'm walking here, walking at the Glen, the New York catchphrase. Go take a look at our weather presented by Lottie'sTravelWorld.com. It's partly cloudy in upstate New York, 87 degrees for the air temp, track temp at a blistering 113, humidity at 55%, and the winds are from the west at 12 miles an hour.
Got a long pace lap here, Hunter, so we got a chance to really talk about our picks. We invite everybody in the chat, put down who you guys think will win tonight's race here at Watkins Glen. We got a lot of time to talk about it here, Hunter. Who you taking, Harold? Who you taking, Hunter? What are you guys feeling for tonight's race?
I'm really just looking through the chat. I see a lot of people pulling for JJ Wang. Although I feel like I'm going to stick with what I said when we left Talladega, or when we all left Talladega. I'm going to keep an eye on Matthew Robinson. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling that Robinson's going to pull through and he's going to win at Watkins Glen. I don't know if Harold, you got any picks, or Jake, if you want to make your pick.
I got my pick. I know who I'm going with, so I'll jump in before Harold maybe steals my guy.
Go right ahead.
I mentioned it before the race. I've been talking about it the last few days with some of my buddies. I think we saw last week the 18 of Caleb Steimer go to victory lane for Infinite Gaming. I think Infinite Gaming goes back to victory lane tonight. I think JJ Wang is the driver who gets it done.
Ooh. And last but not least, Harold, don't be afraid to make a pick.
I think I'm gonna go back to Dominic DeLeo.
Okay, I like that pick. That's a solid pick. So we got Matthew Robinson for Hunter. I got JJ Wang. Harold went ahead and took the 21 of Dom DeLeo. So 3 pretty good picks. Nobody electing to choose any of the guys starting in the top 6 positions though. So interesting strategy by us, I would say, lightly. So we got the green flag emotes getting ready to go out in the chat. So make sure you guys got your new Area iRacing Twitch emotes ready to roll here, Hunter. We're working through turn 6, and we're about ready to get racing here at Watkins Glen. It's going to be a fun one.
It will be a fun one, and we got 35 laps set for us here tonight. Competition caution, well, not really competition caution. The halfway yellow at the completion of lap number 18, so there's no yellows for incident. And speaking of strategy, I know we said it before now, but expect to see some guys come down pit road just a couple laps before that yellow comes out. We see the pace truck gonna make a hard right into the pit road. We got Travis Beckner and James Shamewolf on the front row. They can go whenever they want, and the green flag is in the air. We're underway at Watkins Glen.
And it's probably one of the most interesting turn 1s in all of motorsports. Beckner with a huge lead, though, Hunter. It's going to jump out by about 3 or 4 car lengths over the 31 of James Shamewolf and take over that top spot heading off of turn 1. Looks like, for the most part, everybody's going to get through there pretty smooth.
Yeah, saw some 3-wide action there going into turn 1. Don't want to make too much of a move very early on as the field rolls through the S's.
Yeah, looking through the mid to back part of the field, I don't see anybody side by side anymore. Kind of single filed out, trying to make their way slowly but surely through the S's. Right now, it's Beckner leading. Shamewolf's going to follow suit in the 2nd spot. And then how about Jordan Hurley up to P3 already in that number 02 car?
Yeah, Jordan Hurley, he's one you got to keep an eye out for, too. Although he's not eligible for the playoffs, he's still one driver that you need to watch out for because he can take the lead at any moment.
Yeah, 3 wins already for Jordan Hurley this season. So it's been quite an impressive run to his start of the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. Another driver we've kind of been overlooking the last few weeks who's ran extremely well is our race leader, Travis Beckner. Almost got the job done at Talladega. He's going to rebound tonight at Watkins Glen, and he'll lead lap number 1.
The only thing that held him back from the win at Talladega was not knowing that you can go below the double yellow line on the final lap. And Caleb Steimer used that to his advantage, and he ended up getting the win. So Beckner looking for a rebound here at the Glen.
Yeah, looks like we might have a battle for 4th starting to form up. Forrest Smith has it. Looks like the 41 of Vern Hawkins is going to go around on the outside and take it away. Now it's the 4 of Paul Irvin trying to get around the 84 as they head through the S's. That's for the 5th spot.
Yeah, looking at the 41 of Vern Hawkins. I believe he's making his first start here tonight. Don't really know much about him other than he's in the top 5 as we see towards the back. Some of the drivers rolling off into the grass just a bit as they head out of the S's.
Yeah, Vern's actually one of the Northern Capital Truck Series regulars, so he wanted to try his hand tonight. And the ARCA cars here at Watkins Glen was almost going to sub for the 69 of Gary Lewis. Gary ended up being able to make the race, so Vern hopped into this number 41 car, and he's going to give it a go. Right behind him, though, you got Forrest Smith, Paul Irvin, Trevor Williams kind of rounding out that middle part of the top 10. But it looks like the 41 is actually starting to close in on Jordan Hurley for that 3rd spot as well.
So you see very early on some drivers trying to figure out where to make the move, because this is a difficult track if you're not really a road course ringer here. Difficult to figure out when and where to make the moves. The parts I like to see, or the parts that I would make a move in personally, is going into the bus stop, down into turn 6, and then down into turn 1. Those are really the key passing zones I can see here at this racetrack.
And look at the gap.
Oh, no, looks like, we got Rick Ward on pit road. Not really sure what happened to him. He's currently scored a lap down. I don't believe he disconnected.
Look at the gap our front two are starting to form on the rest of the field. Leave it here, Harold, for a few seconds. You see Beckner and Shane Wolf go ahead and fly on by, but you got a wide margin all the way back to third place. Jordan Hurley and Vern Hawkins, those drivers taking over a pretty stout advantage, over 3.5 seconds back to third place Jordan Hurley now.
You saw they were all the way back there. So early on, it's looking like Beckner and Shane Wolf are the class of the field. It's the third place driver, Jordan Hurley, trying to catch through, but still got a long way to go. We're looking for those JJ Wang fans out there. He is 1 spot shy of the top 10. Got 3 laps completed here at the Glen. He's currently looking for the 10th spot from Jordan Berry, who currently holds the position.
Yeah, watching JJ actually kind of pick his way through the field has been pretty interesting. You see him battling, like you mentioned, right behind the 57 of Jordan Berry, but that 00 of JJ Wang, clearly the fastest car right now outside of the top 10, and he's going to waste no time and try to move his way around the 57 of Jordan Berry. We'll try to get you a shot on JJ here in just a second. Oh, Berry actually gets a little loose coming through the exit of the S's. It's going to open up the 00 now. He's going to try to make a pass going into the bus stop here, Hunter.
There you see him, JJ Wang, that white and blue 00, taking the spot away from Jordan Berry, and now JJ Wang is inside the top 10. And we saw, well, really you had a better look of it than I did. JJ Wang was looking like he was going to put down one of the fastest laps in practice, but he had traffic in front of him that derailed it. Yeah. And then I kind of made it as a joke, but I also was serious in saying, hey, maybe that could help him out later on in the race, having to work through traffic. And he's gained about 5 or 6 spots since the start of the race.
Well, he's got 1, 2, 3, about 4 or 5 drivers in front of him that he's clearly quicker than, and we'll have to watch and see how he's able to pick his way through them. Surely it's going to be entertaining to watch him. But Hunter, you got to think, at a race like this, you qualify, or you're forced to start so far back in the pack, you kind of think you're already out of it. This halfway caution is going to open up the second half of the race that might play into JJ Wang's favor.
Yeah, I'm looking at, you mentioned his lap times. He's running faster lap times than the first 4 cars in front of him. Well, really, Jeremy Horn, Dominic DeLeo, Paul Irvin, Trevor Williams, go to Forrest Smith in 6th that ran a lap faster than him. And it looks like JJ just picked up another spot.
Yeah, he came out of that S's really wide. I thought for a second he was going to get sideways. He was able to corral that car and make the move around Jeremy Horn for the 9th spot. So now next one up is going to be Dominic DeLeo in 8th, the 00 heading to the front.
So we look through here, still Beckner leading over Shane Wolf. The gap now rising to just under 2 seconds between Beckner and Shane Wolf, and then the gap between those two in 4th place Jordan Hurley about 4.5 seconds back.
Yeah, Hurley really fallen outside the top 2 by quite a large margin. And it's really been all Hurley and Hawkins outside of our top 2. Those 2 drivers have kind of set themselves apart in 3rd and 4th. And then 5th on back is where you see a really tight pack all the way from about Forrest Smith all the way back to 12th place Sean Corcoran. Those drivers are still within 5 or 6 seconds of each other.
Looking through, out the one of Trevor Williams. He had really nice laps in practice also.
Oh,
and
yeah, big contact. Jordan Berry, the 57, he is destroyed coming through the S's right now. I'm not sure he's going to be able to bring that 57 car back to pit lane. I see the left front tire hanging off of it, the front end hanging off of it. We'll try to get a look here at the replay of what exactly happened to Jordan Berry. I believe it was right here going into turn number 1. And we'll see exactly what happened here, Hunter.
There you see Jordan Berry making the move down into turn 1. Looking like he got a little bit wide there, and he got loose, and that's what caused it.
That was contact with Jeremy Horn, spun him right around hard into the inside wall, and we're about to go back to our live feed, and you can see Berry right now when we get it back to live, he's hardly able to bring that car back around the racetrack. I mean, he is really struggling with all that damage to the.
He's that white dot you see just coming out of the carousel. There he is right now.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get a better camera on him there, but you can really see.
I don't know why. It looks like there's another car that stopped over there just before the entrance of the carousel. Don't know who the car is that's now behind Jordan Berry.
I don't know, but look at all the damage, Hunter, on that 57 car. He's probably done for tonight once he pulls that thing into pit lane.
Yeah, and there's the 66 of Bobby Tinch. Oh, we just saw him go close to being above the rumble strip, which I feel like that might have played into why that wreck sort of happened. Although we did see Jordan Berry get loose, but you get a 1X if you go all 4 tires to the left of that rumble strip coming through turn 1, and he was on the edge and trying to get it back down, it looked like, and then just came across the 66 of Tinch, and we might have seen Tinch go over it there.
Look at the traffic for JJ Wang right now, the 00. He's actually going to get around the 4, it looks like, of Paul Irvin, heading right down here into turn 6. Oh, Paul almost came down and blocked him. JJ's going to lock it up, actually trying to get around him and make that pass for the 7th spot. JJ has got he's got his hands full right now, Hunter.
Oh, he's going to get crossed over here by the 4, looks like. Going to be side-by-side down the front stretch. We rarely see that, and it looks like Irvin's going to pull in line behind JJ Wang. That was close from Wang, though, coming through turn 6. We did see him get wide.
And he's right behind the number 1 of Trevor Williams. Trevor himself having a pretty impressive race. Missed last week at Talladega. Said he had, some back issues going on, wasn't able to make it. Said he was going to try to tough it out here at Watkins Glen to stay playoff eligible. He's doing a heck of a job running 6 right now.
And it looks like Paul Irvin's going to give it another go inside JJ Wang here. Battling for the 7th spot. Irvin's got the preferred line here going into the bus stop.
And this is really our only battle right now on the racetrack as well, right outside of the top 5.
So he mentioned, or as I mentioned earlier, one of the better passing zones is going into that bus stop, and you just saw Paul Irvin had the preferred line going into the bus stop. It is risky, but it worked out in the end, and he's got the spot for the moment. We're looking through here on the leaderboards as we continue to watch the battle between Paul and AJ Wang as they both go wide. Travis Beckner has increased his lead now to almost 4 seconds over second-place driver James Shanewolf. Vern Hawkins has taken over the 3rd spot from Jordan Hurley. And in the 5th spot still is Forrest Smith.
Yeah, I was going to mention, Vern in the 41 car able to get around the 02 of Hurley. Hasn't really been able to pull away from him too much. Those 2 drivers are still about 2 or 3 car lengths separated, but up front, it's Beckner who's starting to pull off quite an impressive lead, Hunter, over 4 seconds now for the number 45 car. He is flying around this racetrack right now.
Yeah, he was 4/10 quicker than Shanewolf that last time by, his quickest being a 1:13.52. See, this is like a cakewalk for Beckner at the moment.
I'm interested to see, though, because a reminder to all of our viewers out there, we have a halfway caution at the completion of lap number 18. I'm interested to see how that'll play out when it comes to Travis Beckner now having to hold off, James Shanewolf, Vern Hawkins, the 00 JJ Wang surely is going to be up there. Actually, it looks like Vern off the track by a wide margin outside the turn 6. He's going to give up that 3rd spot right back to Jordan Hurley. So costly mistake there for Vern Hawkins is going to cost him 3rd place. And now Forrest Smith in the 84 closing on the back bumper.
Yep, one line to the design teammates. A rare instances where they have a 3rd driver, and that being the 41 of Vern Hawkins. Now we go back here between Paul Irvin and JJ Wang. The battle for 7th continues to heat up. JJ Wang not letting the 4 slip away just yet.
Yeah, but it seems like for JJ, he's really starting to get closer to that competition to where, you can pass outside the top 15, the top 10, but man, once you get inside of the top 10 in the Swift Lifestyles Pro Series, these guys are a lot more competitive drivers, and you can see the difficulties he's had with Paul Irvin, who, to Paul's credit, has done a great job fighting JJ for that 8th spot and not letting him get away whatsoever.
JJ getting close there, looking to try and get to his inside here as they go to the carousel. Gets a little wide, trying to build up a little bit of momentum, timing it up. You see them coming off the carousel. JJ with a nice run, going to get closer to the bumper of Paul Irvin. This is another passing zone. Although he settles in, thinks better of it, And don't look too far back. Got Dominic DeLeo there ready to pounce if anything happens. Here comes Wang trying to dive it on the outside, get underneath the 4 of Paul Irvin as they go down the front stretch.
You mentioned it.
And he's there.
DeLeo got to be grinning right now watching these two drivers battle. JJ Wang's going to clear him for 7th, but don't look now. Here comes Dominic DeLeo, the 9th place driver, who's done a pretty impressive job, Hunter, with his playoff hopes pretty much on the line. He knew he had to have a good race tonight at Watkins Glen. So far, 11 laps in, the 21's doing the job.
Indeed he is, and he's ready to pounce on the 4 of Paul Irvin, who just lost the 7th spot to JJ Wang. As there was a swerve there from the 4 of Irvin, but things seem to calm down for the moment, and JJ Wang up another position.
I think this halfway caution is really going to help the double zero of JJ Wang. So just about 7 laps away from that caution being flown. Still such a commanding lead for Travis Beckner right now. He's already working through lap traffic, actually. He's going to get around the number 92 of Dustin Carroll, just to give you an idea of the pace the 45 is putting down.
The report from the pits, Jordan Berry and Rick Ward have both retired.
Yeah, we saw that contact with the 57. We figured his night was probably going to have to be over at that point. Significant damage to the 57, so a tough break for Berry. But I'm sure he'll be back Wednesday night in the Lodge Box Series here to give it another go.
It's another tough break for Rick Ward, too. He's the first driver on the outside trying to look in. There was an 8-point difference between him being in and being out. He's the first driver out, and him being last, scored last there, 23rd. That's really going to hurt his chances at making the playoffs.
Well, you never know what you can expect here coming down the stretch at the end of the season. A lot of people with a lot of different scenarios popping up, and those playoff spots might open up quicker than you realize. We saw last week Jordan Hurley and the 19 of Rick Christensen become playoff ineligible just due to missing too many races. So I wouldn't say it's over for Rick Ward, but definitely a damper tonight with that 23rd place finish he's going to get scored with, having to go to Charlotte next week in a tight battle for that final playoff spot.
12 laps down here at Watkins Glen for the Watkins Glen 120, race number 11 of the Ariya Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. Coverage of tonight's race is brought to you by Northern Capital. We'd like to give a big thanks to Russ and Steve Anderson of Northern Capital for their support of the Northern Capital Truck Series, in which you can catch this action tomorrow night on the same channel at the same time, 8:40 Eastern on the Ariya Twitch channel, in which you'll be seeing Vern Hawkins III, a Northern Capital Truck Series driver, who currently is running in the 4th spot tonight. Was going to be a fill-in driver for Gary Lewis, but Gary Lewis was able to make it to tonight's event. And like a little practice session for Vern Hawkins.
Yeah, it's key too, man. I highly recommend a lot of these drivers that are pulling double duty in some of these series. You see a lot of the Northern Capital Truck Series drivers also racing in the Lodge Box Series and vice versa. Definitely a big advantage when you come to these road course tracks like we saw earlier in the season at the Daytona road course, to just get in that race, man. If you're able to hop in and run an official 35-40 lap race, that practice plays huge in the next night of racing for you in terms of your primary series, and just getting that track time at a road course certainly helps.
Yeah, it certainly gets you up to speed with braking points and where you can take the car and where you can't. Although the one difference is being this we're running the ARCA cars. It's very different from the regular trucks that a Northern Capital Truck Series uses, but nonetheless, you still get a good idea of where you can brake on the racetrack, and that's really a crucial part here. You don't want to overcook it and then get into someone, spin your car out, or anything like that. So really just a good getting up to speed pace for Vern Hawkins.
Yeah, absolutely. So Travis Beckner, our race leader currently, he's got the lap car of Nick Halda right now. He's getting around. Actually, Halda going to almost end up in the grass coming through the bus stop, and Beckner's going to go ahead and put another lap down for the 87. So we're left with 17 cars only on the lead lap already. When that caution does fly, there will be a free pass given to the first car one lap down, as we would traditionally see at any other race. So potentially a battle brewing up there. Right now it's Nick Halda in the 87. We'll see if the 45 of Beckner is able to get to the 55 of Adam Capps before this halfway caution does fly in about 5 laps.
And don't be surprised if we see some of these front runners, including Beckner, decide to pit. Could pit early on. Or, well, actually, I really don't see a reason for anyone up front to pit early on, although we might see it. I feel like drivers in the back, like, say, J.J. Wang might be able to make a pit stop. He's in the 7th spot right now, and could be a little bit of an undercut for the leaders, because you pit, say, 2 laps before the competition yellow comes out, or the halfway yellow, and then the leaders up front have to pit. Then you overtake them under that caution, and then you get the track position.
No, I agree with you, Hunter. I think we'll see a lot of people exploring that possibility as well, especially with the pace that Travis Beckner's put down. He's built such a big lead, where if a lot of these guys, outside of, let's say, the top 10 or so, decide to come down pit road, there's a chance they might lose a lap, though, and they won't be able to execute that strategy. So I think it's really only opened up to those within about 27 seconds or so, which right now, Jeremy Horn, the 10th place driver, is right around that cutoff point, to where I wouldn't really pit if you're outside of that, just in case you lose a lap and then you're stuck behind for the rest of the race. So we'll have to see what these drivers decide to do strategy-wise. Look at Dominic DeLeo. Close call there on the back bumper with the 4 of Paul Irvin.
I'll say, especially for someone like Dominic DeLeo, who's on the outside looking in. The car in front of him in points, he's out of the race and he's dead last. So this is a big chance for Dominic DeLeo to play a little strategy call here. Wouldn't surprise me if he comes down pit road and uppercuts the field.
Yeah, and only 2 or 3 laps here before we do get that caution, so that decision might come in the next lap or so for the 21 car. We'll keep an eye on that, as well as the rest of our top 10 here, as we almost are at that halfway point of tonight's race at Watkins Glen. Want to give a big shout out again, everybody tuning in and following the channel. We really appreciate that, up to 313 followers. So awesome job, everybody out there tuning in and showing some support for these racers that are putting on a heck of a show so far tonight.
Indeed, always fun to put out a good show here for you tonight, and putting out a good battle at the moment, riding on board with Dominic DeLeo as he goes down what I like to call the backstretch here. There's no really backstretch, but this is the longest and straightest backstretch part of the track that there is. That's why I consider to call the backstretch, as they head through the bus stop and down into the carousel.
Really closed in on the 4 of Paul Irvin there. I thought he might have an opportunity to set him up for a pass. He doesn't do so. Coming out of the carousel now, though, another good run out of DeLeo. You see, he seems to have really strong exit speed in that number 21. He's going to send it down into turn 6 here. I thought for a second, Hunter, I thought he was going to send it in there with you.
He might send it in here. Oh, he's getting closer, though. He locked it up, had a bit of wheel spin. So he's going through the final turn, turn 7. Lost a bit of ground there.
Oh, there's Mark Patterson, the 51 car. He has been lapped already tonight, so he is currently scored the 21st driver, 1 lap down. Still only 17 cars on the lead lap. Adam Capps, that last driver on the lead lap, with over a lap and a half here or so until we get that competition caution. Beckner still continuing to show the way. He's got an 8-second margin over James Shainwolf. Another 11 seconds back to Jordan Hurley, and then 17 seconds to 4th place driver Vern Hawkins, the 3rd.
I feel like Harold is keeping this on the 40. Well, I thought he was keeping it on the 40 just to pick fun at my pick for being 14th on the track right now. But you never count out Matthew Robinson. And here's a surprising twist. I didn't expect this. Travis Beckner comes down pit road. He's one of the last ones I would think would come down pit road. With the way his race speed has been, I would have thought drivers behind him would pit, but he decides to pit. Looks like Jordan Hurley decides to pit also.
It makes sense for Beckner, though, because now what you mentioned can't happen. Those drivers that, did pit, if Beckner stayed out, would have just jumped him as soon as the caution came out and everybody came down pit road. So this is a good defense strategy for Beckner to try to hold on to as much track position as possible. Benefit for James Shainwolf, though, it transfers the lead over to him, and he'll get a bonus point for leading a lap, and he is currently 2nd in the points. So with that win at Pocono, not too much of a points worry as far as James Shainwolf goes, but you never know. Every point counts, especially here at the end of the regular season. You know that the regular season standings, you'll get some extra playoff points depending on your seeding. So definitely important in terms of playoff seeding for James Shainwolf to try to hold on to that 2nd spot.
Yeah, I guess the part that shocked me is that he pitted, but I would have thought that drivers would have pitted already before. Had that been the case, I don't think Beckner would have come down pit road.
Well, we'll see here now because, like I said, it's still until the last car on the lead lap completes lap 18. So we currently are on lap 18. So Shane Wolf still has an opportunity here to come down pit road if he wants to. He already got the bonus point for leading a lap, and it looks like he'll do exactly that.
So Shane Wolf coming down pit road. We've yet to see Trevor Williams or Jeremy Horn come down pit road. Be interesting to see.
Trevor Williams, I was going to mention, is the next guy. So if he is able to get to the lead here and lead a lap, he will get that bonus point. And it's very important for Williams as well, that last driver in the top 12, to get as many points as possible. And he will take over the lead here. And now everybody kind of on standby for that competition caution to fly when the last car completes. Lap 18 here, I believe it's going to be Bobby Tension, the 66, our last car on the lead lap.
I'll say, looking through the field, Jeremy Horn had a really lengthy, or Jordan Hurley, excuse me. Jordan Hurley had a really lengthy pit stop compared to the rest of the field.
He's on the,
over a minute 22.
And he's being scored as the currently the last car on the lead lap.
Yep, you got it there. So as soon as Jordan Hurley crosses the stripe, we'll expect to see that competition caution fly. And I believe everybody stayed on the lead lap, Hunter, that did elect to come down pit road. And our race leader now is Trevor Williams in the number 1, so he will be scored in P1 when the caution does fly here in a matter of moments. Jordan Hurley, the final car on the lead lap here.
Yeah, but the completion of this, as we see the 0-2 of Jordan Hurley rounding turn 7. Once he crosses the stripe, the competition caution, halfway caution, it will come out, and then we'll see what madness unfolds.
So Hurley crosses the stripe. Now it's up to the 1 of Trevor Williams, who's going to actually enter pit road. Oh, late development here for Williams. He tried to enter pit road right as the caution was thrown, and I saw him make a late dart outside of the pit box, but he was already within the cone. I'm curious if that's going to be a penalty for the 1 car.
That is big. That is huge, and he was the only one really who was looking to come down pit road. So you see, it looks like Cliff Mullins has yet to come down pit road from my scoring, but very interesting to see. We'll see a replay of it.
And you'll see the caution gets thrown right here as he's trying to pit. He locks it up and turns to the left, but he had already crossed the cone, and he does get a black flag from iRacing for that. So we'll see what our admin's decision is with that, but definitely a risky decision there by Trevor Williams to try to sneak into pit road in time, and definitely backfired for him there.
My question is, he already crossed the cone, but decided to not pit anyway. If he had already crossed the cone before the yellow came out, could he have gone away with it?
It looked like the red was already showing closed pits, and either way he would have been given a black flag. He would have been EOL'd for entering a closed pit.
Yeah, and it's going to be a penalty for the 1 of Trevor Williams. Race control confirming it. Tough break there for Trevor, trying to do what he could to, play the strategy to the best of his abilities, but definitely a costly decision there for Trevor. And he's going to have to get set all the way to the rear, and that's going to cycle Travis Beckner back to the front. And we'll have to wait and see when these drivers, 2 of these top runners, decide to bring it down pit road here under our first and only caution of the night.
I don't expect to see anyone that just pitted to come back down pit road unless maybe to top off on fuel, but I don't even think fuel is going to be a factor here in this last stint. So we're looking through tonight. Got Travis Beckner here, who's been the most dominant car of the field. James Shane Wolf will cycle into second. The third place driver was Jordan Hurley. Not really sure what happened to him on pit road. He had a very lengthy pit stop compared to the rest of the field. We see some having 14, 15, even 20 seconds at their pit box, and Jordan Hurley had 55. So not really sure what went wrong for the 0-2 of Hurley.
Hunter, there's a chance maybe he was trying to wait and, obviously got that car full of fuel. There's a chance he was trying to wait until the last possible second to come out, and so he wouldn't have to run as hard under green flag conditions. Once that caution came out, he went straight into fuel saving mode, and maybe just a strategy call there to make sure he's good to the end.
You see Cliff Mullins coming down pit road. Looks like, who else is down pit road?
See, Trevor Williams in the number 1 is in. Obviously, he has to do so from the rear of the field. We got the 55 of Adam Capps in, the 69 of Gary Lewis, as well as the 37 of Cliff Mullins and the 66 of Bobby Tinch. And here it looks like this is a replay with Jordan Hurley, I believe, Hunter.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like the replay of Jordan Hurley going on the pit road now. I was trying to see
if he looked like if he sped on pit lane, which I did not see that.
Yeah, I really think he might have just been trying to pull a strategy where he was, maybe thinking his numbers are a little close on fuel and wanted to save as much as possible. So just kind of waited there, banking on that yellow to come out so he can instantly go into fuel saving mode and not have to push hard around the racetrack. That's the most I can think of.
If that's the case, I mean, Cliff Mullins went 19 laps on fuel. Not sure if he had any fuel saving going on whatsoever, but if that's the case, I think he should be good on fuel then if Cliff Mullins went 19 laps.
It's actually, this caution really does help out a few drivers, Hunter, that were lapped by Travis Beckner. So we saw Beckner, of course, lap a large majority of the back half of the field. Well, when Beckner came down pit road, that actually unlapped a few drivers, those being the ones directly in front of the 45. So the 92 of Dustin Carroll and the 18 of Caleb Steimer, they're both going to be getting a wave around here when we get the 1 to green symbol. So definitely a good break for them to be able to get back on the lead lap.
But they still need to pit.
Yes, they'll still need to pit. So kind of that trade-off there is that they'll just take a green flag pit stop, but at least they'll be back on the lead lap.
And they will have the fresher tires than the rest of the field.
Correct, but like Harold mentioned, they're going to have to pit pretty instantaneous from that restart. Or from the upcoming restart, I should say. So still 2 to green here. They're going to get the 1 to green symbol next time by and start doubling up.
While we're at, let's go ahead and give our halfway rundown here. Presented by Swift Lifestyles. Fans, be sure to visit our sponsor, Swift Lifestyles, for clean supplements that help improve your focus in gaming. Use discount code AREA iRacing, AREA iRacing, for 15% off your entire order. Like to give a big thanks to Swift Lifestyles and their support of tonight's Swift Lifestyle Pro Series race number 11 here at Watkins Glen. Let's go ahead and do our rundown. Travis Beckner is currently your leader. He's led almost every single lap. Seems like the car to beat, and he pitted right before that yellow came out and led everyone else to come down before that competition yellow came out. There you see, it's led 16 laps so far. So we see the second fastest car behind him throughout the night. James Sheenwolf, he led a few before he had to make his pit stops. Not really sure if he's got anything for Beckner, although he is the second fastest car on the track.
Right behind him, Vern Hawkins making his first start in the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. The Northern Capital Truck Series regular, we see him every Tuesday night here on this Twitch channel, coming down to make a start in the Watkins Glen race and doing a heck of a job so far. He's ran 3rd place for a majority of this race, and that's where he's going to restart here with about 13 laps to go. Right behind him, 4th place driver Forrest Smith, the guy who's really led the charge for this One Mind to Design team and it's gotten them all the way up to the team championship points lead. The 84 has been having a solid and successful season so far, looking to cap it off with a win, but also looking to lock himself into the playoffs tonight after an impressive points performance. So there's a chance we see that number 84 locked in, leaving Watkins Glen, and an impressive run for the 84 Forrest Smith tonight.
There's a chance we also see that 00 JJ Wang locking himself in, possibly with a win. He's worked his way from mid-pack, say about 16th or 15th, up 10 spots or so. He's in the 5th spot. Keep an eye on that 00. He might make some moves as we head into our last stint of the race. So then 6th place driver, looks like it's Dominic DeLeo. I don't know why I had Eli Green for me, but Dominic DeLeo is 6th. He's another driver who's currently right now, he's the first driver outside looking in because Rick Ward is down in 23rd out of the race. So keep an eye on Dominic DeLeo, looking for a strong run to try and work his way in the playoffs.
Eli Green, right behind him, the number 28 car, who's had a up and down season to say the least, but he finds himself inside that top 12, looking for another solid run tonight at Watkins Glen. Right behind him, the 81 of Jeremy Horn, the driver for Vader Motorsports, who's had a pretty rocky start to the season, but he's got a chance to maybe back his way into the playoffs, depending on how tonight's finish goes, and then especially the regular season finale next week at Charlotte.
So you look back, there's our 9th place driver, Sean Corcoran. Haven't talked much about him tonight, but driving that Northern Capital number 22, he's currently in the 9th spot at a quiet night, which is a good sign that hasn't done too much to put his car in jeopardy, and hoping that he can bring home a solid finish for that number 22 car. And then there to the outside, you see it's the 40 of Matthew Robinson. Robinson also had a quiet night. He's been in the mid-pack for the majority of the race, but he finds himself in the top 10, and he is looking to have a good finish here. And I believe he's gotten a top 10 or a top 5, both top 10 and top 5 in every single race this year.
Yes, yeah, Matthew Robinson, 10 races in, he's finished in the top 5 every single race, so just an impressive start to the season. And of course, they talked about all that in the power rankings released earlier today on areairacing.com, so make sure you guys head over there and check that out. We're coming to green here, Hunter, with 13 to go.
13 to go once again. It's like we're going green for the initial start. Travis Beckner and James Shamewolf on the front row once again. Pace truck pulls in the pit road, and Beckner brings him down for the green flag once more at the Glen.
And it's kind of the same thing we saw in the initial start. Beckner clears them by about 3 car lengths heading down at the turn 1. Shamewolf this time, though, is going to tuck right back up to him, and they're nose to tail heading off of turn 1 with Vern Hawkins following suit in third.
Yeah, Shamewolf knows that the only way he can pass Beckner is from this initial start, or him making a mistake, which he hasn't done all night, as they work their way through the S's.
And you get a good look at this field as they single file work their way out of the S's and down into the bus stop, being led still by Travis Beckner. James Shamewolf trying to catch him back there in the 2nd spot and add another win to his playoff resume. Doesn't look like he's able to do so. As they head down into the carousel, it's Beckner by about 5 car lengths.
That gap's just going to increase as the run goes on. You see Shamewolf there running a little wide to not lose any momentum, although he's slowly drifting away from Beckner. Beckner's drifting away from him as they roll through turn 6.
Back to JJ Wang back here in 7th. He actually lost a few positions on that restart, and it's Eli Green in the 28 who's moved up into the 6th spot. So now you got Dominic DeLeo racing Eli Green side by side for the 5th spot as they head down the front straightaway.
Yep, and DeLeo's just going to let Eli Green go.
Green looking pretty sporty here so far on this short little stint so far as they work out of turn 1. He's restarted outside the top 5. He's now up to 5th, and he's looking to close in the gap. Oh, sideways through the S's. He's actually going to go.
Oh, there goes Green. Eli Green around in the S's. Got to keep an eye out.
I think
everybody might have
been able to avoid him. He stays in the grass there. He does a 360 and he's going to keep it moving, it looks like. Heck of a job by Eli wheeling that thing to keep it in the grass and out of everybody else's way.
We'll take a look at our 1 to go replay here. We'll try to find where the incident was, but this is one of the things with only having a halfway caution that happens, and Eli Green's now in a pickle where he's just got to make do with what he's got.
Yeah, I don't think this is the right replay here, Harold. We're like way far ahead, I think.
We'll try and get it here. There was contact through the S's, or no contact at all. He just lost it on his own, got loose, overcorrected, and around he went. And fortunate that no one else was involved. Otherwise, that would have been a blockade of previous. It would have been a flashback to a previous incident in 2002, I believe, where a car actually went over the wall there, and that's why you see the bits of catch fencing over there, just to keep the car out, or to keep the car in the track and not out of it.
Just a good move there by Eli also, making sure to get tucked back into the grass and out of everybody's way, and really saving a lot of other drivers' race and their shot at the win tonight. So good move there. Definitely.
I'll say, don't look now. Don't look now. JJ Wang's back inside the top 5. So
yes,
whatever issue he had on that initial restart, he made up for it. So he's back inside the top 5. And he's looking to close in on Forrest Smith and Vern Hawkins there. You see just ahead of him, battling for 3rd.
I was going to say, definitely the beneficiary of that was JJ Wang in the 00. That wreck happened right in front of him. Luckily, he was able to miss it. However, he's still got a long way to go, Hunter, if he wants to get up to our race leader, Travis Beckner. He's already 4.9 seconds behind him, and he's got 3 more cars separating him from the top spot.
Let's say, got a long way to go and a short time to get there. So we see Dominic DeLeo and Jordan Hurley battling. This is for the 6th spot. Hurley moving up, passing DeLeo on the front stretch as they dive into turn 1.
Beautiful paint scheme there for the Audible Racing 02 of Jordan Hurley, by the way. I want to give a big shout out to...
Oh, whoa. Oh, someone just hit the cone down there. Looked like Trevor Williams.
Yep.
Had a bit of a scare there for Trevor Williams in the 1. He keeps it going. Got loose there as he got on the rumble strip. We saw that earlier tonight in which Jordan Berry got loose and tried to save it and ended up wrecking himself. So very fortunate that Trevor Williams did not wreck himself.
We got
and
a
they can
battle
keep
closing
going.
in for the lead, Hunter. James Shamewolf has reeled back in the 45 of Travis Beckner, and he is about a half second away from our race leader now, heading into turn 6. That 31 car kind of sticking with the 45, Hunter.
Yep, as we see it. Not really sure if this is just Beckner saving his stuff up for the next few laps or so, or if it's Shane Wolf just saying, hey, it's go time. I gotta give it my all.
I think Shane Wolf might be on go time, Hunter. He ran the fastest lap I've seen all weekend in a separate practice session, so I know he's got the speed, and right now it looks like he's going to be able to hang with this 45 and potentially challenge for the win here with 8 laps to go. Correction, 9 to go here. And this is my favorite part about the halfway caution. It really allows these drivers to reset and kind of approach this second half of the race with a totally different mindset. And a lot of times we saw it at the Daytona Road Course in the Sim Speed Shops Cup Series, Hunter. That was one of the craziest finishes we had, and we had about 5 different leaders on that second half of the race.
Got battles in the back, too, for the 3rd spot. 3 cars, Vern Hawkins, Ford Smith, and J.J. Wang in the back. Looks like Wang's up to 4th, Smith falling back to 5th.
Yeah, JJ, actually, you're right. He moved up to 4th now, so he's closing in on our leaders as well.
Yeah, there was a close battle here. Not so close anymore as... Oh no, it's just Beckner blinking in and out. It said he was on pit road, but that's got to be a bit challenging there for Shane Wolf. We saw that with last week's winner, Caleb Steimer. Or was it Caleb Steimer? Actually, I apologize. I'm not too sure who it was, but there was a car in the field last week at Talladega that kept blinking in and out. And that had to be so frustrating and so nerve-wracking as the car behind in a pack. But this also has to be a little bit...
It was Travis Beckner.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Beckner.
Last week as well. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So Beckner was blinking in and out at Dega. He was blinking in and out. Not as much as he did last week, but it's got to be infuriating for the driver behind him to lose sight of him and be like, oh, where'd he go? And then just randomly pop back up. And it could be further in front of him or closer in front of him.
Well, we're going to ride on... Well, we were right on board there with James Shamewolf, so you could get a look at exactly what he's seeing, but he is really tracking Beckner. I mean, every single move through each corner, Shamewolf just seems to be a little bit quicker and a little bit quicker and just trying to hunt down that 45, and he's within striking distance, Hunter, where if this was the last lap, I would not rule out that 31 of James Shamewolf trying to put a bumper to that 45 some way or another.
Yeah, at the closing stages, we would consider that a Louisiana dive bomb in which you just risk it risk it for the biscuit with a big send. But too early for that. We do typically see that on the last lap. So we're getting 1 lap closer to that.
And last time by, Travis Beckner with a 1:13.9. The second place driver, James Shamewolf, with a 1:14.0. So just a 10th difference in terms of lap time for the 31 and the 45, but they're also closing in on some lap traffic here in the next lap or two that might make this interesting. It's the 92 of Dustin Carroll and the 18 of Caleb Steimer. Both those drivers we saw take the wave around. They had to come down and make their green flag pit stop, and now they're right in front of the leader. Actually, Dustin Carroll's going to go into the grass, and Travis Beckner's got to go low to avoid it all, going into the bus stop nonetheless.
So we're watching the battle for, well, actually, no, this is the battle for first. Caleb Steimer there pulled off to the side. He's also in the grass, letting these front 2 go.
And I don't know if that was an intentional move or not by Steimer, but it worked out for our race leaders nonetheless, just to clear the track for him and allow this number 31 and the 45 to just battle till the bitter end. Oh, J.J. Wang around in the carousel. The 00 spins out here. And that's going to pretty much end his chances at a potential victory here. He's getting back up to speed, but it was a spin in the carousel turn for the 00 of J.J. Wang. Just a tough break there, Hunter.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the replay here presented by Sim Speed Shop. It looked like he was closer to making a move on third place driver there, Vern Hawkins. Not really sure what happened there. So you said he went around in the carousel, as we'll
right here
catch up here in the bus stop. There it is. It looked like he was making a move down there. He went inside just a little bit too much on the curbing, hit the inside wall, but it spun him right back around. Got to be some damage there to the front of J.J. Wang, as we see. It looks like he's on pit road.
Yeah, he's on pit road. I think that contacting the inside wall may be a little bit more crucial than we thought for the 0-0. He's going to bring it down pit road. His chances of tonight's victory is over, but it's not over up front for the 31 of James Shanewolf. He's still hanging on to the back bumper of Travis Beckner.
Also in the pits, Jordan Hurley has disconnected.
That's our
So Jordan Hurley, as we see the blinking in and out again of Beckner, but yeah, Jordan Hurley he would have been your third place driver had it not been for a lengthy pit stop there whenever he was coming down pit road. Not really sure still what the cause of that was, but he had to work his way through. He was inside the top 10 before we went green. Not sure what happened to him also, but he's disconnected and his night is over.
So really a good break for Dominic DeLeo now. He's worked his way inside the top 5 with all the chaos we saw in the last handful of laps. So 21 of Dominic DeLeo setting himself up in even better position with just 5 laps to go here at Watkins Glen. It's still James Shanewolf trying to hunt down our race leader Travis Beckner outside the top 5. You got the number 81 there of Jeremy Horn with a solid run. And how about Trevor Williams still holding on to a 7th place run at the moment as he comes through turn 1.
Yeah, Trevor Williams holding on to that 7th spot for the moment. Got 2 cars in front of him battling between Jeremy Horn and Dominic DeLeo. That is for the top 5 spot, and DeLeo needs every spot he can get.
Yeah, these points are very critical for the number 21 car, Dominic DeLeo, so you know he's going to fight to try to hold off Jeremy Horn and Trevor Williams. All 3 of these drivers right now on your screen also just on that playoff bubble. I believe Trevor Williams is the last guy in, but the 81 and the 21 both trying to find their way to get up inside that top 12. Beckner a little bit loose through turn 6 and 7. Shanewolf does the same exact thing. The tires are spinning for our front 2 drivers as they head off into the front straightaway, and they're going to take 4 laps to go. Still following each other's tire tracks around this racetrack.
Yeah, once again, they are the class of the field. They've pulled them away by a good margin between themselves and 3rd place, and we're inside of 5 laps to go. Presented by Sim Speed Shop. I'd like to give a big thanks to Sim Speed Shop for their support of the Sim Speed Shop Cup Series this season, and racers can visit their website at www.simspeedshop.com to find multiple items to complete their virtual racing setup, such as button boxes, wheels, racing gear, and much more. That's www.simspeedshop.com. Oh, and a close call there for the 31 of Shanewolf. It looked like he almost clipped that inside wall as he was going in the bus stop.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers up front have just done such a good job of trying to narrow that distance entering the bus stop that it almost looks like it every time they come around the racetrack. But the last few laps, I feel like we've seen Travis Beckner kind of slowly but surely stretch out that lead over James Shanewolf. It was about 4 tenths. Now it's up to 5 tenths, nearly 6 tenths as they head through turn 6 and 7 here. They're going to get 3 laps to go, Hunter, and you got to think about Travis Beckner, man. Almost got his first career win last week at Talladega. Lost it in the tri-oval to Caleb Steimer. How about this rebound tonight at Watkins Glen?
Yeah, and it looks like he's really starting to stretch it out here. The 31 looking loose there as he goes through turn 1. Has to go wide. That's really going to help Beckner.
He grabbed the grass off his left side tires going into turn number 1. That was definitely upset that car.
Yeah, costly mistake there for the 31 of Shanewolf, and the lead stretch now to over about 3 seconds already.
Yeah, that was just such a critical part of the racetrack. So you got to look here at the battle. The 81 of Jeremy Horn still all over the back bumper of Dominic DeLeo for that top 5 position. Really no change for much of the field so far here as we approach the end of this race.
Trevor Williams was back there, but lost a good bit of ground. To come back up here for the battle for 3rd, and then looks like Forrest Smith has overtaken Vern Hawkins, the one-line to design teammates.
So you kind of got 3 groups of 2 right now. You got the race leader, who was Travis Beckner with a closer margin on James Shanewolf. Now it's kind of stretched out. And then you got the 84 and the 41 here you see on your screen for 3rd. And then for 5th, you got the 21 of DeLeo and the 81 of Jeremy Horn. DeLeo trying to hold on for his first top 5 of the season right now. This time by 2 laps to go here at Watkins Glen. It's still Travis Beckner out front.
And barring any unusual circumstance for the rest of the field, looks like that top 5 streak for Matthew Robinson is going to come to a close. But depending on how these next couple of laps go, he could keep the top 10 streak going.
Yeah, he is 7th right now with a chance for some last lap chaos. I wouldn't count out Matthew Robinson finding his way to the top 5. Oh, got a lock up there for a second. It was the one of Trevor Williams, actual 7th place driver. Excuse me, I thought it was Robinson, but he locked up the tire going into turn 1. Was able to corral it in, though. Robinson's going to continue to run 8th just behind him. But yeah, Hunter, good call out there. Top 5 streak, the impressive top 5 streak for Matthew Robinson, maybe coming to a close tonight.
Yeah, as I say, all good things must come to an end. And it looks like that might come to an end for Robinson.
He still got the top 10 streak, though, as you mentioned, as long as he can hold on for that 8th place run. DeLeo trying to hold on for his first top 5, but up front, trying to hold on for his first win. Travis Beckner comes out of the last corner. He's going to get the white flag here at Watkins Glen. 1 to go, presented by 1 to Go Studios. Travis Beckner with a 3.5-second advantage over James Shanewolf.
We ride on board there this last lap with Travis Beckner. He was so close, yet so far away from winning last week at Talladega. He's put on a clinic here today, and he's got quite a bit of a lead there from him and Shanewolf. It's about, I'd say, about 4.5 seconds back. He just continues to stretch that lead as he heads down to the backstretch and into the bus stop for the final time.
And he was oh so close at Talladega, just a few thousandths of a second. Actually, the second closest finish in area history, Hunter. And Travis Beckner was on the losing end of it. Not going to be like that, it looks like, tonight. He's had a commanding lead. He won the pole. He's led the most laps. And coming into turn 6, it looks like Travis Beckner is about to score his first ever win in area.
So he works his way down into turn 6 for the final time. No shot. Oh, we got a wreck just in front of him.
Oh, man.
Got a lap car in front of him that just wrecked it. Close call there for Travis Beckner, but nonetheless, he's going to come off turn 7, a winner in the area Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. He wins at the Glen. Don't know who that car was that spun out just in front of him, but we move back. James Shanewolf in 2nd. Forrest Smith going to come off the final corner 3rd. Teammate Vern Hawkins 4th. Got to look back at the battle for 5th between Dominic DeLeo and Jeremy Horn. So they come off the turn 7 for the final time. Looks like Dominic DeLeo's going to hold on for top 5.
His first career top 5 and a first career winner all in one night. Trevor Williams, Matthew Robinson, the rest of the field flying by. But tonight it belongs to the 45 of Travis Beckner. His first career win in area. There you see Eli Green coming across the stripe. The 45, though, of Travis Beckner getting it done tonight at Watkins Glen. He's going to be on his cooldown lap, certainly coming to grab the checkered flag and do some burnouts on the front straightaway here, Hunter.
Yeah, and as we saw last weekend at Talladega, all 4 series we saw a new winner getting their first career win. We're keeping that streak going into the Glen. The 5th race with the 5th different winner and their first career win in Area iRacing.
Yeah, just a cool streak, man. I think it really speaks to the competition level of this league as a whole, and just impressive to see all these guys be able to come in week in and week out and still somehow find new winners some way or another.
Indeed, it really just shows that any given week, the dominant car might not be the dominant car that it was all year, and someone like Travis Beckner could just come out of nowhere and win. I mean, we saw last week he almost won at Talladega, but I mean, Talladega, it's a more of an open ground, open game than the rest of the field. To win on a road course, that's, saw a car there just sitting there, but yeah, to win on a road course, really challenging. You gotta upshift, downshift, gotta work your way through different parts of the racetrack, and not to mention, you turn right. You don't always turn left, you turn right.
Yeah, Travis Beckner definitely earned that win tonight, and we're going to get a chance to talk to him here, Hunter. The 45 of Travis Beckner, our race winner. It looks like they're doing some double burnouts with Cliff Boland's potential. A little bit of an alliance there, I guess, between the 37 and the 45. We'll have to ask him about that, Hunter. But let's bring him up into the broadcast booth. The number 45 of Travis Beckner. Your first career win comes at Watkins Glen, Travis. You really had to earn that one tonight.
Oh, yeah. It was hard. I can tell you that, right? Shane Wolf had me nervous there at the end when he was right on my bumper those laps. I just can't believe I won.
Well, we kind of can't believe it, but then again, we can believe it because you put on an absolute clinic, led the most laps, 31 out of 35. What was going through your mind there when you saw Shane Wolf had a bit of a bobble there coming through turn one?
I was like, all right, don't make a mistake, and yeah, just don't make a mistake.
Yeah, didn't want to pull a Chase Elliott that had a similar mistake for his first career win in turn one on the last lap. Didn't do that. You actually absolutely deserved it. Still have no sponsors left. Last week, you finished second, almost won. This week, you win. You still got no sponsors on. What's it going to take for you to get some sponsors, man?
I don't know.
Well, any shouts you want to give out before you go?
Yeah, of course. Shane Wolf for racing clean tonight. Y'all for taking your time out of the day to do this, and everybody else that raced, and of course my parents, and Cricket for Hotspot.
Yeah, I believe you got some family members definitely tuning in and talking to you through the chat. So they're pumped up you won, Travis. Congrats on a win tonight at Watkins Glen, man.
Yeah, thank you.
That was race winner, the 45 of Travis Beckner. First career win tonight here at Watkins Glen. An impressive drive to get it done. Almost another impressive drive for the 31 of James Shane Wolf, bringing it home second, James. We thought there at the end you might have something for the 45 of Beckner. You really gave it a good try all the way to the finish.
Yeah, man, I downshifted. I missed my shift by a little bit. The RPMs were still a little too high, and when I put it in the second, man, it just hooked left into the grass. Yeah, I tried, man. I was trying to keep the tires cool and hopefully be able to make a run at them with like 2 to go, but wasn't able to do it.
Well, I saw the practice times. I brought it up with Hunter a few times throughout the race. I thought you were really going to be super competitive out there, and you were. Just looked like Beckner just a tenth or two quicker tonight. What do you think? What do you think that 45 had that maybe the 31 didn't?
The consistency, man. I was making a lot of mistakes. The practice lobby we ran before this one had a lot more grip. So you're able to carry more speed, so the shift points were a little different. The first half of the race before the halfway caution, I was driving it the same way, and obviously gave up a bunch of time to him. So I started adjusting my shift points and was able to kind of keep with him a little more. Then with about 8 to go, I'd say, that's when I started pushing a little harder, trying to reel him in, and just pushed a little too hard.
Well, we got next week's regular season finale at Charlotte, and then we head into the playoff, James. You already got the win at Pocono to lock yourselves in. What is the goal for this 31 car throughout the playoffs here in season 1 of the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series?
Be inaugural champion, man. It'd be awesome to win the first ever championship for ARIA here in the Swift Lifestyle Series. But honestly, just have consistent runs. I mean, we've been up there every week, man. It's just I tend to always do something that kind of puts me behind the 8 ball just that little bit. The other guys aren't. So just get more consistent. Be smarter about my strategies and what I do on track to put myself in the best position possible towards the end of the run. And hopefully come out on top, man.
I'll pass it over to you, Hunter, if you got anything for James here. Nope, maybe not.
You kind of.
Oh, you're here. Go ahead.
I was here. I was just letting you do all the talking. I really had nothing to add. Had a solid night. Almost had it there. If you didn't have that mistake in the turn one, who knows what this finish could have been. Actually, did you have any plans on using the bumper to move Beckner out of the way if you were close enough to do so on the final lap?
The chase is about to start, so I'm gonna plead the fifth on that. Honestly, I was just trying to stay close enough and force him into a mistake, man. But who knows? Last lap, if it came down to it, who knows? But no, I wasn't thinking about it with 5 to go or anything. I'm more wait till the absolute last second if I'm gonna do something like that, just so he can't get me back.
Yeah, I hear that.
But
I'm sure you don't want to make any enemies also heading into the playoffs. Not that I don't think it would have gotten to that point either, but still, James, an impressive run, man. Second place. Who helps you get it done?
Got to give a big shout out to Adam Capps, man. Everything that man does for me when it comes to sim racing alone. If it wasn't for him, I honestly probably wouldn't be running. I've had so many issues over the last year or so with my PC and with my steering wheel breaking. Not too many sponsors I know that would go out and buy one of their drivers a graphics card and a wheelbase to keep them on track. So kudos to him, man. Everything he does for me. One Mind, Two Design. Always keeping us looking sharp on the track. I know they're a rival team, whatever you want to call it, but do all our paints, man. Keep us looking pretty. I know they got some big news coming up here towards the end of the month. I'm gonna speak on it, but just keep an eye out on their Facebook page. Also, quick shout out to Swift Lifestyles, Jacob, all the admins at ARIA here for putting on this show each week. One to go for the broadcast, and another shout out to Travis on the win. I'm sure it's one of many to come. Kid drove the wheels off the thing tonight. Look forward to racing him again next week at Charlotte.
Absolutely, James. Appreciate it, man. And we can't wait to see you back next week at Charlotte. And we'll go ahead and send you off there. Second place finisher, James Shanewolf and Hunter. Third place was Forrest Smith. I believe you caught up with him down here on pit road.
Here we got Forrest Smith up here in the booth. Forrest, it's Hunter, Harold, and Jake. Got a copy?
Got a copy.
Well, we kind of knew who the front two were going to be after, say, about 5 laps or so. We were really looking to see if there was anyone from the back that could make their move, and you definitely worked your way through being in the top 5 majority of the night, but you got yourself up to 3rd. Take us through your night and how your battle was between fellow One Mind to Design teammate Vern Hawkins.
Our night was pretty good. We were mainly just a 5th place car. During like the first part of the run, we were behind Vern and Jordan for majority of the race. I was behind Vern basically towards his bumper for majority of the race. Me and him were just taking our time. We knew that we didn't have anything for at least Shane Wolf and Travis. They were the class of the field. So it was just run our own race, don't make any mistakes, and bring home a top 5, which we both did.
Yeah, definitely looked like that 84 car had some speed tonight. What can you take tonight to apply to Wednesday night in the Lodge Box Series? Will we see you out here at Watkins Glen again, and what do you think will help you?
I think what helps me is just repetition, basically, at least getting the brake markers down. For an Xfinity car on Wednesday, I ran a lot of official races at this track when they were hosting officials a couple weeks ago. Won a few races. It's basically repetition. Hit my markers. Track's different than it was, at least then.
Well, Forrest, another good run for you, puts you in great position heading into the playoffs. I believe you're actually officially locked in tonight on points alone heading into Charlotte next week. So we'll see you in the playoffs. I asked James the same question. What's your goal for this 84 team in season 1 of the Swift Lifestyle Series playoffs?
Well, honestly, the goal was finish top 10 in playoffs, but with how well we're running, I think top 5 is very desirable. If somehow I've got a shot to win the title at Phoenix is one of my good tracks. I hope to bring home, or hope to have at least a chance at Phoenix to win.
Well, Forrest, we're going to let you go here, man. Congrats on a 3rd place finish. Look forward to seeing you next week at Charlotte for the regular season finale.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
And that's going to wrap it up here, Hunter, tonight. And we'll take a look at our final results. Looks like Travis.
Final results for the I'm walking at the Glen. I'm walking at the Glen, the New York thing. Funny. Yes, Travis Beckner gets the job done, dominates here at the Glen, wins it. James Shanewolf gets 2nd, Forrest Smith 3rd, Vern Hawkins 4th, then rounding out the top 5. First top 5 of the year for Dominic DeLeo.
Jeremy Horan brings it home 6th with another solid run for that 81 team. Trevor Williams with a 7th place run. 8th place for Matthew Robinson. 9th place Paul Irvin, and rounding out the top 10, Eli Green in the 28.
11th is going to be the 22 of Sean Corcoran. 12th place was Cliff Mullins, the driver that you saw doing dual burnouts with Travis Beckner. Gary Lewis finishing 13th, 14th Adam Capps, and 15th Bobby Tinch.
Nicholas Halda brings it home 16th in the 87 car. Caleb Steimer, last week's winner at Talladega, finishes 17th tonight, but he'll be locked into the playoffs courtesy of that win. JJ Wang, a disappointing 18th place finish to his night. Mark Patterson brings it home 19th, and rounding out the top 20, Dustin Carroll in the 92.
The last three we got is Jordan Hurley finishing 21st, 22nd Jordan Berry, and 23rd is Rick Ward. Let's go and take a look at your Elwood Design race recap. Travis Beckner won, leading the most laps, 31 out of 35. Had one yellow for that halfway yellow at lap number 18, or the completion of lap number 18. And James Shane Wolf had the fastest lap of the race with a 1:13.520. Guys, any final thoughts? Oh.
yeah. No, I'm excited because points have been updated so we can kind of start to set the scene a little bit for next week's season finale. The last playoff spot, it still belongs to the number 1 of Trevor Williams. But next week, Dominic DeLeo, he's got 10 points to try to make up on the Trevor Williams machine for that 12th and final spot. So certainly a lot of drama. And oh, by the way, only 13 points back is the 81 of Jeremy Horn. It's going to be tight between Brian Dixon, Eli Green, Trevor Williams, Dom DeLeo, and Jeremy Horn next week for the regular season finale. So make sure you guys are followed along, subscribe to the channel so you can be here when we head to Charlotte to decide who's going to go to the playoffs. It's going to be a great show. But tonight's race, Hunter, had a lot of fun calling it with you, man. I can't wait to see what the rest of this week brings.
Yes, I can't wait to see what the rest of the week turns out to be. Harold, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Well, he said this is our first and only road race for the ARCA guys. Did a pretty good show for tonight. 2 guys showing that they put the most practice in. Tomorrow night, it'd be Ken and I calling the shots here with the trucks while Jacob gets out there and puts his skills of turning left and right to the test up and down this Watkins Glen traditional NASCAR circuit. But other than that, man, definitely going to be interesting tomorrow night. First and only road course for them, and then we'll put the second ones in for the Xfinity and the Cup Series to run out the week.
Yep, and it looks like that's going to do it here from everyone up in the booth. Executive producer Harold Darner, second A man Jacob Bell. I'm Hunter Sleppy saying so long, and we'll see you later.
What an exciting race brought to you by One to Go Studios. Here they come out of turn 4 to the white flag, and it's 1 to go. Thank you to all our sponsors, drivers, and viewers. We'll see you at the next turn.